Hi, it's Jill from Jilly Bean Studio. Welcome to the channel where I share art journaling and junk journaling projects and ideas. In today's video, I have more unaltered books that I enjoy working in for art journals and junk journals. These two I'm going to work in more this month, in the month of March. And I talked more about those in the last couple videos, how I like to work in different styles of altered books. So if you care to check that out, I will link those videos below. And also how I set up this kind of altered book, an altered children's book. This is a fairy tale, The 12 Dancing Princesses. And I did have a couple questions on how I set up my pages to Art Doodle. So today I will share with you one of the fun ways that I like to do that in that journal. So we'll set up a page together, and I hope that we can share more ideas on how you like to art doodle and junk journal and use altered books as well. So I lovingly call this one the kitchen sink journal. It has a little bit of everything in it. Some fun patterned art, a lot of collage. I like to use paint and pens. And I had a little bit of a loose theme of windows and doors. I decided kind of to get a theme would get my brain in the game, so to speak. And when I wanted to art journal, I could kind of have a go-to. So I don't know about you. Are you a person that enjoys prompts and themes in your journals? I think that really helps me. So to start out with, I have some fun little pockets. I like to do a lot of scribble journaling. I have this cute little botanical card that I did some sewing on. Little bit of Zentangle art. The picture on the left is an actual door that we have locally, and I popped that one in. And then on the right, I did a little bit of sketching. Made some keys and added some texture paste. This is an altered postcard, and you'll see throughout the journal I had a ton of these black and white die cuts, so I sort of played around with lots of splashes of color and scribble doodling. Love doing that on book text. And that cute little bird. I also had a bunch of the Tim Holtz frames, so I kind of used those throughout for the window theme. Little belly band with some old packaging and an embossed door with a little bit of inking. So truly, friends, anything goes in this journal. I went back to different pages, skipped around. There wasn't a lot of rhyme or reason, just whatever I felt like on a given day. I have some scrappy tags here. I love using maps in journals. I think that was more of that packaging. And this is just tracing paper. I used a little bit of watercolor, and I used that paper Hinge method. More fun tags and postcards. I especially love postcards for writing and jotting notes. And that cute little bag, and I collaged a map on that. Here is more of those die cuts. I don't know, I had a huge pack and decided to use the stash. Little Alice in Wonderland theme there. I love that because of Alice and the doors when she falls down the rabbit hole. I'm a big fan of yellow, and I used a lot in this journal with the yellow cover. More texture paste. all the little bits and scraps that we have on our desks as junk journalers and art journalers, book pages, they all kind of make their way in. More hand lettering. And I think that's a great thing about this, excuse me, type of journal. You can add all of your art bits, all of your scraps, layer and collage. Little scrappy tag here. On the left-hand side of this page too, I did some silhouette and paints to sort of match that lovely girl with the sunflower growing out of her head. I love that image. Used a slide as a tuck spot. I love this little crocheted flower. An altered card. I think this door image I got as a freebie from 49 Dragonflies. Then I have a couple pages with an ocean theme, the Selkie, looking through that framed window. A CD envelope. I don't know, I have a ton of those in my stash. Feels good using those up. I love that cute little owl pattern. This is just a whole lot of acrylic paint. Library pocket and tag. Cheshire Cat card. I really do need to make an Alice in Wonderland journal. I'm always loving that as a theme. A lot of black and white and doodling on that mason jar tag. Again, tons of scraps from the desk made their way into this journal. More of an ocean theme there. Excess paint from leftover projects. I would just plop it on in. And I love this little paragraph at the bottom, so I just kind of made some lines around that. All the little art bits, rubber stamping, some printing, and simply papers I love. Colors. And I think the best thing about this kitchen sink journal was I had no preconceived ideas. I just did what I felt like, put in, used up scraps, extra paint, put in papers that I loved, and had a good time doing it. I love this little chunky journal. Yeah, so I also had questions about how I like to set up my art doodle pages. So I'm going to do an example today in the altered picture book. And instead of using a stencil for inking, today I'm going to set up the book page with the stencil as a template. I'm going to trace them so I have a little bit of parts of the stencil, like here on the top right and on the bottom left, and use those shapes to outline some designs on the page. I'm also going to do that with the door that I borrowed from the kitchen sink journal. This is a really simple way to guide you with your art doodles so that you have some basic shapes on your page. I'm going to continue to use gel pens and some acrylic pens. I like these Artex. They're very juicy and opaque. And the colors go so nicely with the book images on the 12 Dancing Princesses page in the middle. So part of the reason why I'm doing this is, as you saw in the earlier videos, I really do like to hinge in watercolor or mixed media paper, but these book pages don't take watercolor that well. Instead, using this technique, you can use markers and acrylic paint to enjoy gel pens, inks, and stencils on the book pages themselves. And of course, this is a plain one. It's not one that has text. So these are more like the end pages, either from the front or from the back of the book. Also, I suppose, though, you could hinge in cardstock with the paper hinge method. So you could do that as well. I really love these colors. And as I mentioned in the last video, I choose this style of book often because I'm so inspired by the illustrations, and I always try to keep a few in the book and then kind of play off the colors or the theme. So in this case, I'm kind of, in my mind, I'm kind of doing both. I'm going to make a woodland door that maybe the princesses would come upon in the fairy tale forest, and also keep to those colors that are in the image in the center. Yeah, so I hope this setup, this basic starter of materials and pens and stencils and shapes, gives you an idea for something that you might want to art doodle in your journals or altered books. This definitely is something that I'll go back to for multiple journal sessions. It's something that I might work on for even a week or two. I like to leave my books open on my desk and just kind of get to them when I can get to them. Yeah, so thanks so much for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate your comments, your ideas. I'm going to leave you with a little early morning, so sorry for the darker shadows here doodling, but this is real time for me, going back to the art journal on the desk. I love these early morning sessions. And again, I'm glad you're here, appreciate your comments, and happy art journaling to you.